Elon Musk was never meant to live an ordinary life. From the very beginning, his story was shaped by isolation, struggle, and a relentless curiosity about the future. His journey isn't just about building rockets or electric cars. It's about a man who looked at the world, saw its biggest problems, and decided he had to be the one to solve them. He was born in 1971 in Pretoria, South Africa, and his childhood was far from easy. He was a quiet, introverted kid, often lost in his own thoughts. While other children were outside playing, Elon was inside, reading, and he read obsessively. Books became his escape, his sanctuary. He devoured science fiction, physics, philosophy, and epic stories about changing the world. These weren't just past, they were the building blocks of his entire worldview. This inner world was forged in a crucible of pain. Elon Musk was bullied, and not just in the way most kids are. He was bullied so severely that at one point he was beaten unconscious and hospitalized. Those experiences left deep, lasting emotional scars. But they also did something else. Instead of breaking him, they pushed him further inward into the vast landscapes of his imagination. He started asking questions that most children, and even most adults, never dare to ask. What is the future of humanity? Why do great civilizations rise and then inevitably fall? And most importantly, how can technology prevent our own extinction? These weren't just casual thoughts. For him, they became lifelong obsessions. At just 17 years old, Elon Musk made a decision that would define the rest of his life. He left South Africa. He didn't leave because it was easy or because he had a clear path ahead. He left because he believed, with absolute certainty, that his future was not there. He moved to Canada with almost nothing to his name. There was no safety net, no family fortune to fall back on, and no guarantees of success. All he had was a burning belief in what he could achieve. From Canada, he eventually made his way to the United States, a country where he felt innovation was truly alive, where big ideas were not just tolerated, but celebrated. He enrolled in university and studied physics and economics. He was a brilliant student, but he was also incredibly impatient. School felt slow, theoretical. The real world, with its urgent problems, was moving at lightning speed. He came to believe that technology was advancing far faster than traditional institutions could ever keep up with. So he did what very few would dare to do. He dropped out of his PhD program at Stanford after just 2 days, leaving the world of academia behind to build companies that could change the world. His first major venture was a company called Zip2, a sort of early online city guide. The journey to build it was brutal. This wasn't a glamorous startup story. He literally slept on the office floor because he couldn't afford an apartment. He showered at the local YMCA. He worked endlessly, fueled by little more than ambition and cheap food. When Zip2 was finally sold, Elon Musk became a millionaire. But for him, the money was never the real goal. What he truly wanted was the power to shape the future. Instead of taking his newfound wealth and living a comfortable life, Musk reinvested everything. Every single penny. He co-founded a company called X.com, an online bank that would eventually merge with another company and become PayPal. The PayPal story is legendary in Silicon Valley, but when it was sold to eBay, Elon Musk walked away with a fortune of over $150 million. Now, he was truly wealthy. He could have retired, sailed off into the sunset, and never worked another day in his life. And then, he did something that no one, absolutely no one, expected. He bet it all again. This time, the stakes were astronomical. He founded SpaceX with the mind-bendingly audacious goal of making humanity a multiplanetary species. He wanted to build colonies on Mars. At the same time, he invested nearly all his remaining capital into Tesla, a small electric car company that, at the time, was seen as little more than a joke. Electric cars were mocked. The auto industry was a fortress. Experts laughed at him. The media called him a fool. Investors ran for the hills. The years that followed were pure hell. At one point, both SpaceX and Tesla were just weeks, even days, away from complete bankruptcy. His rocket launches were failing, exploding on the launch pad. Tesla was bleeding cash, unable to scale production. The pressure was immense. Elon Musk later admitted that during this time, he thought he had failed. Completely. He believed he had lost everything. Not just his money, but his dream. And then came the turning point. Against all odds, against all the criticism and doubt, SpaceX successfully launched its Falcon 1 rocket into orbit. It was a historic moment, the first time a privately funded company had ever achieved this. Shortly after, Tesla managed to survive its own production hell and began to scale. Suddenly, the entire narrative changed. What once looked like insanity now looked like visionary genius. The man everyone had laughed at was now being hailed as the next Steve Jobs, the next Thomas Edison. As a leader, Elon Musk is famously, and often controversially, intense. He is not an easy boss. He demands an incredible level of dedication. He expects sacrifice. He pushes people to their absolute limits and then asks for more. Many have criticized his leadership style, his public statements, and his relentless pace, but very few can deny his impact. He has single-handedly reshaped the entire space exploration industry. He redefined what an electric vehicle could be, forcing the entire auto industry to follow his lead. He has accelerated the development of artificial intelligence and is pushing the boundaries of brain-computer interfaces. He has fundamentally challenged our idea of what is possible. When you look deeper, you realize Elon Musk does not see himself as a businessman. He sees himself as a problem solver for humanity on a planetary scale. Climate change, sustainable energy, the long-term survival of our species beyond Earth, the future of human consciousness itself. His goals are so large, they make people uncomfortable because they force us to confront the biggest questions we face. Elon Musk's story is far from over. His legacy is still being written every single day. But one lesson from his life is already crystal clear. Real world-changing progress is not made by those who play it safe. It's not made by those who follow the crowd or seek approval. It is made by those who are willing to be misunderstood, to be criticized, and to be deeply, profoundly uncomfortable in the pursuit of an idea they believe in. He was a lonely, bullied kid who found solace in books. He was a young immigrant who bet everything on a dream. He was an entrepreneur who was doubted, mocked, and nearly broken. But he refused to accept the limits that others tried to place on him. And by relentlessly challenging what everyone else thought was impossible, he has already changed the trajectory of our future. Thank you for watching. If you found this story inspiring, make sure to subscribe for more deep dives into the lives of the people shaping our world.